So what's the difference between being greedy and being hungry when it comes to standing on God's promises? Let's talk a little bit about that as we explore another installment of the ABCs of God. All right, guys, this is Earl McCray from Real Relief Consulting. Revitalizing the community, one fat professional at a time. For those that don't know me and have not heard of me, what we do is we assist overweight, overwhelmed, overburdened professionals and creating the best versions of themselves by helping them enhance their self-esteem, their mindset, and double their income. And we have a series of folks in our community. We have an academy, and we all work to make and compound one another's success. So we're going to have a session, a little bit less than an hour, and we're going to talk about some things. We're in the process of going through a book, and the first two chapters have been very interesting. And it's brought me to this question, the question I'm going to pose to you. What's the difference between being overly ambitious and being hungry because you're standing on God's promises? Man, that's a beautiful, beautiful sight. Look at that moon. Because the moon is nothing but an object that reflects the glory of the sun back to earth. And that's what we all ought to be doing. Through the gifts, the talents, through the dollars, through the influence that God has given us and blessed us with, we should be reflecting that glory back to Him. Because everything that we have, God's given to me. So let's think about this conversation. So, in The Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith did that movie, and I thought it was amazing. I don't particularly like Will Smith always as an actor, but that role, he hit it. And in that role, he was willing to go through heaven and earth because he desired to have a better life. And what was his why? What was his motivator? It was his son. He wanted to have time, money, freedom. He wanted to have security. He wanted to be able to not just live a life in a survival mode, but he wanted to actually, he saw how other people were living, and he believed he could do it himself. So that's again one of my most coveted movies, The Pursuit of Happiness. So with respect to this conversation here, what's going on, guys?
How you doing, man?
All right. With respect to our conversation here, when we talk about standing on God's promises, God wants us to be prosperous. God wants us to be blessed. God wants us to be resourceful. The only thing that messes all of that up is God gives us a brain. He gives us a mind, and He gives us free will. And if we choose not to live up to our merit, up to our potential, up to our God-gifted abilities, He's not going to intervene and He's not going to stop. And it's kind of funny because I've said it many times, we are the only one of God's critters, we are the only one of God's creations that He allows us not to live up to our potential. I mean, think about a flower. A flower doesn't stop growing because it's scared. A bee doesn't stop pollinating because it's tired. A cow doesn't stop giving milk because it's too busy. All of these creatures that God has created has a purpose, and it lives in its purpose. Not a little bit, not 20%, 100%. But here we have men, we have women, God's creations. I would say to you guys, as a place of encouragement that we can be, do, and have anything because God has gifted us the ability and the free will to do such. So be hungry, guys. Don't be satisfied. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good becomes your better, until your better becomes your best. Let's go for it, guys. Let's get it. This is your man, Earl McCray from Real Relief Consulting, saying to you that God has meaningful and magical things in store for you. Don't sleep on those promises. Live your best life. Take care and God bless.